Morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday virtual service with the Journey Within Spiritualist Church. I'm Elizabeth Fracolosi, minister with the Journey Within, and today we have with us Minister Moya ODwyer. She is from Swansea, Cardiff, and Cork based. Moya has nearly 30 years experience as a spiritual counselor and has worked extensively in Ireland, the UK, and the USA. Her private readings bring great comfort and healing. Moya was ordained by the Journey Within Church recently and now serves as one of its ministers. We're so pleased to have her number among us. We begin our services with spiritual healing. Spiritual healing is normally a laying on of hands in prayer and to be used in conjunction with, never instead of, medical practice or advice. As we are meeting virtually, our healers that are present will be sending healing to all of you here and to those we are requesting prayers for. We are grateful for our volunteer healers who are with us today and for their dedication as healers. If you'd like to request healing for someone, please put their first name and last initial only for privacy in the chat box. These names will be forwarded to our healers for absentee healing. You may also call the church or email us if there's anyone during the course of the week you'd like to request healing for, including pets, planet, or global circumstances. We will open with prayer, followed by a period of quiet meditation. If you'd like to participate in the healing, please quiet yourself, focus on your breathing, and as you inhale, feel yourself boosting your own immune system. Ignite the inner healer within. Please join me in prayer. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from our minds and bodies and to restore us to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and the power of God. Gently come to the end of healing, we will continue to remember and pray for those who are suffering and those who are in need of healing. Amen. I would now like to invite Moya to open the service with prayer, followed by song.
Thank you. My friends, would you like to join me in an opening prayer? Father, Mother God, Great Spirit, join our hearts, minds, and souls together, that we will come together in sacred sanctuary together as a community bound by love. We open our hearts to the presence of the Holy, to the Great Spirit, that we invite that presence now. And in that presence comes the gifts of Spirit, joy, love, healing, upliftment. We invite the presence of our loved ones, our beloved family, all those who have gone merely ahead of us, that they draw close and embrace us, that we trust again in the eternal connection with our souls and theirs. And as we join together with the great power of Spirit, we extend healing and love out to the wider world. We think of Maui in Hawaii. We think of the Ukraine. We think of places all over this earth in which people are struggling with loss, hunger, with addiction, with mental health. All those who feel lost, all those who suffer, we extend the power of healing and love to them. And we find shelter together here this evening, this afternoon, and this morning. We find shelter in coming together as fellowship. And we find a blessing in that great power of love. And I ask that I am helped to serve with integrity and love. Amen.
I would like to invite Minister Moya for the address.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I love music, and I love a great American singer called Bette Midler. She's wonderful. She sings great old standards. And I wanted to share with you some of her lyrics from a wonderful song, which you are free to sing if you would like from the comfort of your own home. I'm not, however, going to inflict my singing voice on you, but I am going to share with you some of her lyrics from a wonderful song called From a Distance. From a distance, the world looks blue and green and the snow-capped mountains white. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream and the eagle takes to flight. From a distance, there is harmony and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of every man. Those lyrics are very powerful because they tell us that from a certain perspective, from a distance, all seems well. There seems to be harmony. And it reminds me of some of the extraordinary spiritual experiences shared by a very unique cohort of people, astronauts. Some of these wonderful astronauts who went into space, who had the unique privilege of seeing our planet Earth from a distance. I want to remind you of an American astronaut, Edgar Mitchell. He was on the Apollo 14th lunar journey to the moon, sixth man to walk on the moon. And he had a profound experience as he saw the fragile but beautiful planet Earth in the vast expanse of space. As he looked at it, he realized that from a distance, we are all one. There are no arbitrary divisions between country, creed, color, sex, or class. It profoundly moved him, and when he came back, he worked tirelessly for the service of others. And that perspective is a spiritual perspective that is enshrined in our spiritual tradition. We talk about our interconnectedness, that we are one spiritual human family. We say the brotherhood of man and the sisterhood of man. It is a wonderful aspiration to know that, to feel that, and to aspire to it. But my friends, isn't it true? Isn't it so difficult to feel that when our loved ones don't act so well, when they hurt us, grieve us, reject us, when our spouse is cranky or our child doesn't do what we want them to do? You see, I want to talk to you today about that lofty ideal, but perhaps give you some thoughts on connectedness, how we can understand its roots, how we can feel it, how do we know that it is something we can do, and perhaps offer you an emphasis about that connectedness. I love the quote, forgive me, my friends, if it sounds unspiritual. Jean-Paul Sartre, a great French philosopher, said, hell is other people. In fact, it is people that challenge our lofty ideals to feel connectedness. It is helpful to look at where we find within ourselves as ordinary human beings, where we find a capacity for connecting. And of course, that is formed early in our childhood. Psychologists tell us that those early years are formative in establishing a pattern of behavior around attachment, connection to our fellow man and woman. Because, of course, we were raised by people that I hope, let us hope for many of us, showed us love and cherished us, mirrored our needs, understood us, recognized us, respected us. But sadly, for some of us, that was not always the case. And through no fault of their own, they may not have been capable of providing it. Our model of attachment or connectedness can sometimes be very wounded. There's a wonderful psychologist and therapist and speaker called Gabor Mate. He is a Hungarian Canadian who has pioneered the understanding in more recent years that actually a lack of attachment, a lack of love, sometimes even trauma, means that we are somewhat neurologically unable to attach. But the good news is that this can be healed. It can be healed by, of course, recognizing our vulnerability, our wounds, and perhaps receiving support about that. But let me tell you where this wounding around connection can be healed. Answers on a postcard, please. Let me tell you where it is to be found. See, our wounding around connection and fellowship is to be found with finding healthy, loving connection. That's why it is so poignant to me in my small living room here in the middle of nowhere that we are here together connecting. Because when we find fellowship, community, when we find love, when we find someone who cares for us, understands us, when we feel safe, respected, and cherished, then we heal. Not only that, we long for it. It is at the root of all, I believe, of our spiritual longing, is to feel to be belonged, to be safe. That is why this morning, this afternoon, or this evening, whatever time it is, we are here together. And that in and of itself is precious, beautiful, powerful, and healing. You see, the brotherhood of man, the sisterhood of man, gives us all that we ever could need. Not only that, if you've had the privilege, and I hope you have, of having once felt love for another human being or an animal, when you look into the eyes of that soul, you meet God. I want to tell you an old Irish legend that describes this. This is a Celtic legend. God approached a woman one time and said to her, I'm going to visit your home. I'm going to come and I want you to be prepared. And this Irish woman, typical Irish woman, prepared a beautiful meal, plenty of food, tidied her house, put on her best clothes, and in the midst of her preparations, a knock came to the door. An old beggar man stood outside. And he said, I'm hungry and I'm cold. Would you let me in? And she said, will you go away? I'm waiting for God. I've got a very important visitor. You must go. And he went. And as you can probably understand this story where it's going, she waited hours and hours, and God didn't show. And then finally, in her despair and frustration and anger, she said to God, where are you? I did everything. I made a lovely meal. I prepared everything. God said, of course, I did come, but you rejected me. My friends, within the heart of our communities, our family, our loved ones, good, bad, or indifferent, is the face of God. We meet him, or whatever you may describe, that great spirit within. I find it also very poignant when I share with you my own story a little bit, that I, of course, cherish hearing from the spirit world. My mother, who passed a few years ago, I loved very much. And so when she comes through a medium or to me, I cherish every moment. But let me tell you, when my mother was here on earth, as much as I loved her, and she was a wonderful woman, she was great and kind, but my mother, like lots of mothers, believed she knew exactly what was right for me. And so when she would talk to me, to my shame, I would sometimes impatiently dismiss her. I had years with my mother in which I had opportunity to truly value her talking to me. And now I find myself, of course, rightly so, cherishing the moments in which she comes forward. I tell you that story because it is important to cherish the experience of the divine, souls that are with you now, fellowship, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the living experience of God that is with you. It is best, isn't it, to value it now, to cherish it now. So, my friends, that great perspective, that great truth, that great principle that we are all connected, it is wonderful to cherish, to know it as an ideal, but to see it in the here and now, in the ordinary lives we live. And with that, I wish to share with you now the last two verses, from a distance. From a distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. And there are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments, marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so very much. The hearts. I know you've touched mine, and you've touched many in the past, and you're touching many now. Thank you so very much, Moya. We've such gratitude to have you here.
Thank you. Pleasure.
And now, come time for our collection and announcements. There is a scan box for donations for your convenience, if you so choose. We appreciate all donations, great and small. You may also send in a donation or visit the church website if you wish. Divine and loving Spirit, we are blessed to have this home. We ask you to bring us the means of keeping it alive and growing. We give thanks to all gifts, great and small. Amen. If you happen to live in the area, some of you may drop food off at the local food pantry at the door of the church. No glass, no perishable foods, please. And also, if you happen to live locally, please join us if you can for our Sunday morning 10 a.m. live service. And Wednesday nights on Zoom, our 7:30 Healing and Messages service. It's a short little service. And also our Sunday 6:30 p.m. student service. That's on Zoom as well. And for our announcements, our upcoming events and classes, beginning September 9th, we have Life Experiences and Losses Within Mediumship with Catherine and Mitch Shirley. September 10th is Animal Communication in a Nutshell with Lillian Steiner. September 16th, Edgar Casey on the Book of Revelation with Kevin Tedeschi. And in person at the Journey Within, August 27th, a demonstration of mediumship at 1:30 p.m. with Pastor Joe Scheel, Ellen Shander, and yours truly, Elizabeth Fracolosi, again at 1:30 p.m. So if you're there, it's a fundraiser. Okay. As some of our evening ongoing classes, as you know, are on hiatus for the summer, but please watch for their return in September. And we are also constantly updating our website with new classes and events. So please check there for the most up-to-date information. And I would especially like to thank all our volunteers at this time. Through our volunteers, the journey and our community continue to thrive. We wouldn't be here without them. So thank you all so very much. And now we come time for our demonstration of mediumship. As a spiritualist church, we believe life is continuous, and through our demonstration of mediumship, we continue to reunite those here with those who have crossed over. So, our lovely Moya is going to be our medium for today. So if you can take 90 to 100% of the evidence, please raise your hand. You can find that in the reactions box. You click on the reactions and then the raise hand. And if you'd like to practice that, please do that now so you can find it. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to practice lowering our hands. Okay, thank you so much. All right, lowering hands. Now that's good that you find it. We want to make sure it gets to the right recipient. We have quite a few people here this morning from all over the world. We have 105. Thank you for coming. All right, so if you can take those initial pieces of evidence, but then you cannot understand the subsequent pieces of evidence, please lower your hand so we may find the recipient quickly. If several people can take the information, it is up to our medium, Moya, to discern the correct recipient. If you are invited to speak, please then unmute yourself and come in with voice. If you can't unmute, please type in the chat box. And again, please allow our medium to decide who the recipient is. It is spirit that guides, okay? And if you're unsure about what the evidence is, just keep listening, all right? We will have song and message prayer in preparation for the demonstration. Think of your loved ones at this time. Ask them to come close. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and a special thanks to Minister Moya for a beautiful service and lovely contacts. Privileged to moderate for you today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, everyone. I hope you all have Lovely
Bye,
evening.
Elizabeth. Thank you for all your help. Bye, darling.
Welcome.